Dog refused to leave its owner's grave for a week, but then one man found a shocking truth. For 7 days straight, a dog sat at the same grave. It didn't eat much, it didn't sleep, it just waited. Many thought the poor thing was mourning its dead owner. Some people tried to call it away, but the dog wouldn't budge. One man named Leo passed by the grave every day on his way to work. He noticed the dog and felt something was off. It wasn't just sad, it was trying to get someone's attention. On the 7th day, Leo saw something else. The soil on the grave had shifted slightly, like it had moved from underneath. Out of curiosity, Leo stepped closer. The dog didn't bark. Instead, it whined and scratched at the dirt. Leo approached the grave, but what he heard froze him. Leo stood still, heart pounding. He leaned in and pressed his ear closer to the ground. At first, he thought his mind was playing tricks on him, but then he heard it again, a faint tapping sound coming from below the soil. It was slow, weak, but real. Someone was down there. He jumped back in shock. The dog looked up at him and whined louder. Leo didn't waste a second. He pulled out his phone and called the police. When the officers arrived, Leo showed them the disturbed soil and told them what he had heard. At first, they were unsure. But when one officer bent down to listen, his face turned pale. Within minutes, they brought in a team to dig up the grave. The dog stood nearby, watching every move. As the dirt was removed, the tapping grew louder. Then they reached the wooden coffin. One of the workers knocked, and a knock came back from inside. They opened the coffin carefully. Inside was a man, Thomas Gray, 67 years old, covered in sweat and barely breathing. His eyes fluttered open. He was alive. Paramedics rushed in and carried him away. Everyone stood there, stunned. How was this possible? At the hospital, doctors gave the answer. Thomas had a rare condition called catalepsy. It makes the body go stiff and unresponsive, almost like death. No pulse was found when he collapsed, so doctors thought he had died. He was declared dead and buried, but he had been alive the whole time. He had been trapped underground for 7 days. He survived by staying calm, breathing slowly, and not moving much. But it wouldn't have been enough without the dog. Thomas's dog, Max, had stayed by the grave the whole time. Max had refused to leave because he knew something was wrong. He had heard the weak sounds and waited, hoping someone else would notice. Thomas later woke up in the hospital. His first words were, "Where's Max?" When they brought Max in, the dog jumped into the bed and licked his face. Thomas cried and hugged him tightly. Max had saved his life. The story spread quickly. People from all over praised the dog's loyalty. Some called him a hero. But for Thomas, Max wasn't just a hero. He was family. Thanks to Max and Leo, who listened, Thomas got a second chance at life.